Yo, what's up? This is SLIVLIFE, and you're watching the Let's Meet show on Secular TV.
Hi.
What's up, man?
All right, everyone. This is episode 5 of the Let's Meet show, brought to you by Secular.
Yeah.
Today, I'm excited for our guest. I'm going to let the guests introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Cameron. I'm run SLIVLIFE. I'm 31 years old, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming up on the show. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, of course. It means a lot to be here. Thank you for having me, for sure. This is dope.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, you're good.
All right. Perfect. So, as everyone knows, I send them, they fill out a submission form. The guests come up here. We run through the submission form. My last couple guests, I've kind of just been like going with it, but then freestyling as I go. So we'll just do that. All right.
Cool.
So the first question is, what is your creative expression?
My creative expression is through clothing. I hand make a lot of clothes. Obviously, like the stuff, the shirt I'm wearing today. Yeah, that's been my creative expression probably the last 7 years, is when I started my brand, SLIVLIFE. Yeah, and it's just evolved way more than I ever imagined it to. I've always been kind of a creative person, but never really realized it. You know, I've always dressed unique and dyed my hair and pierced my ears from a young age. So I've always been like expressing myself creatively through fashion and just clothing and the way I present myself. So yeah, it just evolved as I got older. You know, I sobered up from doing drugs and alcohol and found an outlet to like pour all that energy into and all my emotions and stuff. So yeah, that's my creative outlet right now, is just hand making stuff and pretty much destroying it and putting it back together and making the most unique stuff I can. So
How did you get introduced to that? I know you said it's something you always did, but at that, you said about 7 years now. What was the point that you were like, this is what I want to do?
yeah, I actually had cancer 8 years ago. And I had a clothing brand when I was probably like 18, so 12 years ago or something. I can't even do the math right now, but so yeah, I've always been trying to do clothing brands and do that. But yeah, I had cancer, and that's kind of what set this next brand off. Is after having cancer, I really started to live life in the moment and just go after my goals, and really realized how precious life was, and decided to flip the script and share with people some of the things that I learned through it. You know, like we all take life very for granted and tend to just like put things off and we'll do it then. But in reality, like we really don't know when it's gonna end. So that's what really pushed SLIVLIFE, and it took a handful of years to really create the story behind it and get it all like figured out and stuff. You know, I basically just I was partying a lot. Me and my brother were out one night. We were like, we got to just live life to the fullest, and it kind of just rolled off the tongue, just live life. And then I decided to start a brand around it, and remind people to live life to the fullest. So I was like just taking a chance on this brand, and I was still drinking and doing drugs, and decided I wasn't living life to the fullest. I'm starting a brand based around living life to the fullest. So I decided to go to detox for alcohol because I couldn't stop drinking. So went to like a 4-day detox to stop drinking alcohol, but immediately got out and kept doing cocaine and like acid and all these other drugs. I was still just partying around. So it took a couple years to get away from like doing cocaine and acid still, and then that definitely like hindered me designing clothes for 1 year. I almost quit, and then yeah, I went to Denver Fashion Week. A friend recommended me to go in like 2018, and that really like reignited a fire under me. Because I saw people hand making stuff and saw this like culture that I had never seen, and I was like completely it blew my mind. And I was like, damn, there's people here exactly, expressing themselves through clothes just like me. So I felt like this whole new world, and immediately messaged the designers who were in it that night, and like that was my new goal, was to get into Denver Fashion Week. And then I got my grandma's sewing machine like right around the same time, and I quit doing cocaine, and was like, what would happen if I focused on this for one year consistently? And I did, and it just like blew up, and it like changed my whole life. So it was pretty crazy how it's I like turn my life story into kind of making these clothes. So
Damn, that's deep. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, of course.
I know some people aren't comfortable sharing like those kind of things, but me personally, I shared some of my struggles, and I feel like that's where the power is when you share those kind of things, is how you grow, or when you accept or realize those things that are hindering you. That's how we grow as individuals.
Yeah.
You mentioned about Fashion Week, though. I didn't. Same here. I've been out here for 6 years, and almost 6 years, and just in the past, since I met Armand, is when I realized like that Denver had this whole fashion scene that I never knew about.
Yeah.
And he introduced me like to you, like showed me you and all these other people, and I'm like, damn, yo, I never knew this kind of stuff was going on out here. I always had like, you know, Denver has like the typical, they go hiking, they go skiing, or you know, stuff like that. But yeah, there's way more out here, and that's why I love it. So thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
You mentioned Fashion Week. So have you got into Fashion Week?
Yeah. I don't think it was the following year, so it was like 2 years later. The following year I actually walked in Denver Fashion Week, and that's kind of like how I got my foot in the door. I started asking the coordinator running, I was like, how do I get my clothes in here? And she was just like, just email me. And I emailed her, and she didn't respond. I emailed her again, and she didn't respond. So I like kind of was just like, I'm just going to keep working on my clothes. And the next year, they invited me. Somebody was working for 303 magazine and found my clothes from Denver. And then they invited me, which was actually like a goal I had. So was to be invited, because I got like, I felt like the time wasn't right when I emailed her. You know, I was still early on in making clothes. So, but yeah, now this will be my 4th year in a row showing with them. So I'm like super excited for the season.
Nice. So thanks for sharing. That's also good advice to anyone who's trying to get into things. I kind of experienced the same thing in a different way. When I was in New York making beats, I went up to, are you familiar with BMI? BMI is like a publishing thing or whatever for like people trying to make music or whatever. And I had like this meeting. I was excited. I was like, hey, how can I get seen or heard or whatever? And then they were like, bro, in honesty, you got to get the streets hot. And so hearing you say that was like, you pretty much, they didn't pay you any mind, and then you got the streets hot. And then once you get the streets hot is when everything comes to you. So it's like,
definitely takes time to build anything, you know.
Putting in the work pretty much is where I'm getting
accepting like little defeats and stuff like that. Like it takes time to build resilience, because it does hurt at first. Like rejection's not fun. And the next year I tried to walk for Denver Fashion Week, and I didn't get selected. So it's like, it is discouraging, but you just got to keep trying, you know. That's all you can really do.
Keep working.
Shake it off and learn from it, and, you know, just keep going.
Dope. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
So I listened to your song, but it's funny. When that song you sent me, and I'm like looking for it on Spotify, and it comes up as like a podcast episode or something. I don't know if I'm finding the right song, whatever. But which leads me to, I'm kind of like trying to regenerate my questions or refocus the questions. And it leads me to this question. When you hear music, what's the first thing you gravitate to?
That's a challenging question. Like, what do I gravitate to?
Like in the song, like it could be, is it the lyrics? Is it the beat? Okay. Is it,
It's usually the beat first, and then like if I can resonate with like the lyrics, for sure. Yeah.
What do you like about the beat, or like what do you like about beats?
I'm huge into music. Like I've been going to concerts for almost 20 years now. So beats, especially, like my brother's an electronic music producer here in Denver, so I've been in like the EDM scene for 10 plus years. So I've always been involved into like sound design and new sounds, and people pushing being just sound design, really pushing new sounds and upbeat kind of trying to think of the word, but just really like upbeat kind of music, like just unique sounds. Like I know Ken Carson and all, like a lot of these guys. A lot of the rap music has I hear a lot of EDM influence right now. So it's funny how it transfers over, because I had a friend who was like, no, I hate EDM. And I'm like, bro, half of the rap you listen to is like, sounds just like EDM. If you cut the lyrics out, like that could be at an EDM show. So it's funny, but I forgot the question. But I love music in general, and just, it's just, when I find a good song that like I can resonate with, it just really like inspires me and motivates me. And I have a short attention span with music, so I'm always looking for new songs anyway. So
dope. Thanks for sharing. And I'm sure when you're creating in the lab, you got music on in the background.
Music or podcast. You know, I'm always trying to learn or listen. It just depends where like my head's at in that moment. So,
Do you have a favorite podcast you're listening to right now?
not right now. I just listen to like probably, maybe 5 to 10 that I like. They're all personal development or personal finance or just like communication, relationships, anything, just how to be a better person, really. So
Dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that about you. Just in general, we should be trying to grow as human beings.
yeah,
And as much as people say they are want to, you have to actively do the work.
for sure.
And excuse me, it sounds like you trying to like pick up from other people, learn, and other things, like you're doing the work. So
Yeah,
that's good to know that
Thanks.
there's other people who's actively trying to grow as human beings.
yeah, that's what it's about. If you're not growing, you're dying, really.
Word. All right, let's go on to the questionnaire that you fill out in here.
All right.
So some of your episode focusing goals is background in personal biz. Tell us about that. What's your background?
Well, I'm from Denver. Lived here my whole life, 31 years, which is gets redundant, driving the same streets and seeing the same things. But it's been cool seeing the city evolve and grow, and it's been very inspiring. People are always going to have negative opinions no matter what. Like, it could be a sunny day and people are going to bitch. So I love Denver and love the city and feel very feel the love from a lot of the people, and I'm grateful to be here. I do concrete with my dad still. He owns his own concrete company, so I work with him during the day and then come home and just make clothes. I've been raised just to like be an entrepreneur. Both my parents still live here in Denver, and they're just a big support system. Like, if I didn't have that close a family, my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister really supporting me this much, it would definitely be a lot more challenging. I've had some years where I thought about, quitting making clothes or getting a regular job, and they're just very supportive. My dad's a little more old school, like he's from the East Coast and stuff, so I get a lot of my work ethic from him, and he's just like a Irish Catholic from the East Coast who's just like kind of hardcore. So and then my mom's just she's a good mom, she's just a mother. So they divorced when I was young, but so I had to go live with my dad, which was kind of challenging because he was just like a single dad. He started his own business, and I lacked a lot of emotional like knowledge growing up. I didn't really get a lot of that because my dad was so busy. And so yeah, that's why I work on myself so much and like try to fix the things that I found wrong with myself now. So I'm big on the personal development, I focus more on that almost than the clothes, and the clothes have just become a routine of expression. And so I have a great family, and I really couldn't do this without them. My mom helps me out so much. She's like, kind of helps me manage a lot of stuff, and she just wants to be there right in my corner. And my dad's very supportive, and he kind of gets it now, because at first he sees you making clothes, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, they don't get it. They see you wearing some of this stuff, and 6 years later, and he's just like, okay, he starts to at least see my passion and my dedication to it. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background, being from Denver, and just my family. I grew up racing motocross and was very like sports. I was more into sports when I was a kid, more than anything. I wasn't very like artistic, but I was always drawing on like my motocross gear and customizing it. And, so I was like writing on my clothes with markers at a super young age. And I didn't like, looking back on all this stuff now I'm like, damn. So I was always very creative and self-expressive. So it just took a long time to finally find an outlet to channel that stuff.
Oh, I like how you mentioned family's super important to me as well too. Over the years, friends come and go, but for me, family's been the most consistent.
For sure.
One thing I saw, I commented this on you. You went to dinner with your grandma, and I seen that on Instagram, and I thought that was like the most beautiful thing ever, because I love my grandmother to death. How's your relationship with your grandmother?
It's good. It's really good. It could be closer, and I could always see her more often, but I try my best to check in with her and spend time with her. She lives right up the street. So my grandpa actually just passed away like 6 months ago. So it's been a little challenging for the family and for her adjusting. So I've definitely been trying to be there for her as much as I can, but she's having a lot of fun. She's like traveling again and kind of a free spirit again, but it is hard seeing that kind of loss, and it puts things in perspective,
What's her views on the SLIVLIFE brand?
She loves it because she gave me my first sewing machine. So she's been a big inspiration, and she owns like a few pieces, if not more, you know. So she has like a heart sweater, and she has a bucket hat, and she hasn't been able to make it to a fashion show because my grandpa's been declining at the end of his life. But hopefully she'll be in town for Denver Fashion Week this year, which would be cool because I am trying to expand next year and hopefully go to different avenues for fashion shows and get out of state and show my clothes in some different markets. So it would be cool if she could see that before I start like outgoing. So yeah, she's great. I love her, and she's hilarious. She's in good health, and she's a funny woman. So yeah.
That transition is perfect to the next thing. Is what's your goals for the next year?
For this year, it's definitely just pushing myself and, you know, really just pushing myself to break out of my comfort zone and to get more comfortable being uncomfortable. It's very easy to like get in a routine and get complacent and kind of get lazy. And but my goals for this year are to just crush Denver Fashion Week. I've been putting in a lot of work at that already. I mean, I've been mentally preparing for it for a couple months already. So I could transition next year hopefully to New York or LA Fashion Week is the goal. So I'm really thinking of this as like my last Denver Fashion Week, to be honest, and really putting that amount of energy into it. Like I really need to step it up. I've been doing this for 5 years, and so Denver Fashion Week, we got 2 days of ThriftCon in April, which I'll be in the creators corner, which is a pretty cool experience because I'm lined up with some really cool big name creators, honestly, and I'm really trying to bring my best vending setup there. Like I have some really crazy ideas of how I'm going to set my booth up, and I'm just pumping out as many clothes as I physically can. Like I literally just lock myself in this room and kind of zone out and pour my emotions into these clothes. You know, we all go through stuff, but being like an artist, I tend to use those emotions to like my advantage. You know, I put myself out there, and I'm not afraid to like get hurt or deal with heartbreak or get rejected from something, and I just use that to my advantage. So ThriftCon, back to, I got off tangent there, but ThriftCon, and so yeah, it goes Denver Fashion Week, ThriftCon Denver for 2 days. Oh no, shit, actually I got my streetwear market coming up. I forgot about that. That's in like 3 weeks. So I got my streetwear market, which is actually like kind of tied into my 32nd birthday, which I never throw a party for myself. So I think it's cool to just kind of, I have a lot of people in the city that are like my friends, so it'll be cool to see what happens. And then it's ThriftCon a couple weeks after that, and then Denver Fashion Week a couple weeks after that. And then the beginning of June, I'm going to Houston with ThriftCon as well for a 2-day event. So that'll be my second time traveling out of town with my dog, and hopefully can bring one of my assistants or someone with me to make the trip a little more. And it's fun going by yourself, but it's fun to experience it with somebody for sure. So, and then I have like something really big I'm trying to pull off this year, which I don't want to like, you know, get into it yet, because it's like sometimes you don't want to not get it, and then you know. So yeah, it's just a fun year, really trying to just push myself and just hit new grounds and just break, you know, my comfort zone, and really just, I'm always trying to just be the best person I can be, and just really, I'm fired up right now. So
thanks.
Yeah.
You mentioned, so the street, I was shocked that you like almost left that out.
Yeah.
Because that was something I wanted to touch on.
For sure.
Streetwear market, how long has that been going on now?
This is only the second one. So I did the first one in February, and yeah, I realized I've been doing a lot of vintage markets the last 2 years, which are great. Like because I met so many good people, and I made so many friends, and I've learned a lot from those vendors, because they're like dedicated diehard vendors. But I started to like sell less and less as the summers went on, and I vended with Stacks and Dog Hair. They threw their own fashion show, and there was just like a bunch of streetwear. It was all streetwear, and that's kind of like sparked the idea. Atlanta streetwear market is something that's going on. It's like, it's fucking huge, and I'm like, I've been watching them for a while, and then I just clicked, you know, there's something missing, and I'm like, who better than myself to host a streetwear market and bring all these other talented designers together and give a place for all of us to vend, because we're really lacking that. And the first one went really well. I pulled it all together in 3 weeks, and I paid nothing for promotion, and just really just pulled it off. I wanted to get the first one just going to show people what's going on, and then now this next one has a lot of traction. It has some traction. We got 303 magazine there to write on it, which was cool. knowing them from the past, working in Denver Fashion Week. They're great people. So I was super stoked they came out to write on it. And yeah, I'm incorporating probably like 5 more streetwear vendors this time. We're going to hopefully use the patio if the weather cooperates, which it should. And yeah, Mile High Spirits is like a great venue. The guy who runs it is like a really good friend of mine for many years. So I'm excited to just keep using that venue for right now and try to do it every other month and get some momentum rolling behind it, which kind of is a segue into like my ultimate goal for the year, which is perfect to kind of get some momentum and of gathering people and yeah, the streetwear community and stuff. So
yeah, dope. I think that's super dope. I know Armand is obviously a close friend of mine.
Yeah,
he was super stoked about it and the success of it for himself and the Pure Perspective brand. So
yeah,
I think that's dope. It sounds like community and building is very important to you, which I love that. That's what I'm trying to do here at Secular, build a community of people where we can all just love on one another and support one another. Yeah, that's something I felt, in my opinion, there's a lack of in Denver, and it sounds like you're also trying to do that as well. So.
I mean, I think there's a lack of community in a lot of places. You know, I was drawn to LA for a while because I have a lot of designer friends out there, a lot of stylists and a lot of artists. There's just so many people out there, and I felt like that was the scene. But I also hear a lot of, it's like cutthroat in LA, and it's like, what can I get from you in a sense? And I wanted to go there so bad, and I'm like, man, I need to just focus on building my name here in Denver and like really. And there is like always that. Early on, there was like that competition. You know, you feel that. You know, it's like it's just. I think that's just human nature to want to excel and just achieve more than somebody else. But the more I have achieved and the older I get, I'm like, it is about helping other people. And like I see Armand, he's like super young. I see a lot of myself in Armand. He's very young and he's a hustler and he wants it. So some people are out partying and like, you know, they're all about show. They want to be like cool and they're all like, oh yeah, I'm a fashion designer. And they're like, so there's so many different sides of being a fashion designer. So, but yeah, it is about building the community and helping one another because we're all like going through so much different stuff and we're all making different clothes and putting out a different message. So there really isn't a competition, and it is about trying to put Denver on the map instead of, you know, I just want to put Denver on the map more. And like I heard something recently that Denver's the 2nd worst dressed state in the country, and I was like. It goes back to that thing how Denver's kind of got that, you know, REI fucking, they all wear that kind of shit. But if you really, there's like a subculture of people who are really expressing themselves, which I think is dope in the city. So I'm trying to let that be seen more because I do have a bit of a platform on my Instagram. So that's why I try to like utilize it as best I can to help people. So
dope. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Question I like to ask people, a brand they admire. One you have here is Ass Pizza. What do you like about Ass Pizza?
He's a character for sure. He's 100% himself, and I messaged him so early on when I was starting to hand make clothes, and he's like quite a bit ahead of me, even like when he started designing stuff. But he was just, I could see, you know, real recognize real. So you can just see somebody who's genuinely being themselves and expressing themselves without any care of what anyone else thinks. I mean, obviously his name is Ass Pizza, so he doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. So his originality and his output and his creativity, just being himself, really, he just inspired me to be myself more. And yeah, he has a tattoo under his thing as a face that says "Follow your dreams," and that's like in a sense what my thing is, you know, so you gotta just live life to your fullest and go after what you really want in life, and not. He has a lot of the same ideals, and like he just doesn't care, and that's all he does is lock himself in a room. And he's really grown his brand to something that's like something to be looked at. You know, it's really cool what he's been able to accomplish. So yeah, definitely look up to him.
Is there anything you can take from Ass Pizza, and not like obviously steal, but are there things you take away and you're able to incorporate in your brand?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's just, I actually try not to like look at other creatives because you like subconsciously soak that stuff in, but I do learn from him, obviously, his hustle and his grind and just not caring what anybody thinks. And I learned from the things he messes up as well. You know, like he was known for terrible shipping for like a really long time and not fulfilling orders. And then that ignited me to just really complete people's orders and just like, I just learn from everybody and, you know, I try my best to, and like everybody's mistakes. So yeah, he's a great designer, and like I said, he should be looked at. The way he found success is pretty cool. So
dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Another important thing to me in Secular is culture. although lately I've been on this thing where I feel like culture is also a form of division along with religion and politics.
Sure. I
So
can see that.
I saw this video the other day where it's like they asked Jackie Chan, do you identify as whatever or North American? He's like, I just want to identify as the human race.
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
Which that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But one thing I guess where I'm getting at is you say your dad's Irish and Italian, your mom's Mexican, Latina. Are there anything you're able to take away from your mom and father's culture that you incorporate into your brand?
Yeah, for sure. Mainly just the work ethic from those two cultures. My dad is definitely like the hardest working person I've ever seen in my life. He's very routine oriented, and he, like I said, he runs his own business. So he comes from a bunch of Irish butchers who are just immigrated over, and that's all they do is just work and like take care of their family. And then my grandpa was also like one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. So that I just take the hard work ethic from them, and family, I guess, is the two real things I just really incorporate in my life, is just keeping my family close and just hard work. So yeah.
Cool. Coming down the list on questions. Actually, there's something I want to touch on. This is completely random.
Sure.
But you mentioned motocross, which is dope.
Yeah.
Do you incorporate like that stuff into your style, or like how you dress or how you design? Are you able to draw things from motocross and incorporate that into SLIVLIFE?
Yeah, very much. Motocross is like my first love and my first passion, and I think it'll always be very deep rooted in my heart. I mean, a lot of the things, like that grungy type of punk rock mentality kind of comes from how I was raised, you know, like watching Crusty Dirt Demons or Nitro Circus, and these guys were just like, I looked up to them and I idolized being a punk, and just like Blink-182. I pull from like my whole life. I just pull from everything that that I like, you know, punk rock, rap, like EDM, motocross, the snowboarding culture, bicycling, like, you know, I pull from everything that I enjoy. I try to incorporate it into my clothes, and I think that's why my clothes are so unique, because I do draw from so many different things, but I cleanly tie them all together. So
it's bound to resonate with someone.
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
if you don't like this, you might like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dope.
Yeah.
It's nice that you have a diverse background. Do you still motocross ride or anything?
I still ride mountain bikes. I have an electric mountain bike that me and my dad like go out on the trails, and we'll go up to Boulder and do some downhill mountain biking. So it's just a lot more easier than they're low maintenance. All you do is charge a battery, and you got to like replace stuff every 6 months, compared to a dirt bike. Like if you're riding a lot, there's gas, there's so many other fees, and you got to load them up. And the bikes are just so much, you still get the same feel of a dirt bike from them, which is super cool. So but I miss dirt biking like every day. I still watch the sport religiously every weekend, and I miss it like crazy. So
yeah. And I remember you mentioned Nitro Circus. I remember that was on MTV, right? Did they have a thing?
I think they did, yeah, for sure. Travis Pastrana and just all those guys were just reckless, and I just grew up watching dudes racing dirt bikes, and that culture is very just like, not that you don't give a fuck and you just do what you kind of want. It's changed now compared to like when I was growing up in it. Now it's a lot more rigorous, and like these dudes are fucking hardcore athletes, and it's one of the most disciplined sports in the world, like physically demanding, because you're wrestling a 200-pound motorcycle, you know, for the outdoors is like an hour. They race for an hour, and then like you make one mistake and you could severely get injured. So like their heart rates are just maxed out, and that's what taught me a lot too about being unique. And it's an individual sport, so you're like, you choose your own lines, you choose how. So it really formed it was a self-expression for me at a young age for a really long time. Like I chose my own gear combinations and how my bike, my numbers. So it really gave me ultimate freedom to just be myself at a super young age. So motocross taught me like almost more than anything in my life, like doing concrete with my dad and just work and motocross. Like I have a lot of athletic, like I have like an athlete mindset, you know, it's all about just like practice and repetition. And like, if you fail at something, like these dirt bike racers have a race the next weekend, so they just brush the shit off and they learn from it, just move on. Well, you can't dwell on things and keep focusing on what's wrong, and all you can do is just move forward. So I think that's why I really like the sport, because they deal with that kind of stuff every week. Something goes wrong and they just keep coming back every week, and they don't quit, which is a big you know, I like being I'm an athlete, but also an artist, but a businessman. So I draw from everything and just pull it into being myself. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That was actually going to be a question I asked, which you kind of answered, but I'll still see
Sure.
if you have anything else to give on that. How do you avoid overthinking and perfectionism as an artist and a creative?
I mean, I'm still working on overthinking. That's something that I think we all deal with, but it comes back to personal development. I'm actually like working on personal mastery and trying to like master myself and my thoughts and my emotions, and really just, you know, your mind is so powerful, and as powerful it is, I forgot the damn question, but
Overthinking and
yeah,
like,
so yeah,
perfectionism.
It's easy to overthink, and like your mind just like will run in a loop sometimes. Like it happened with me. Somebody complained about my dog barking, and then I couldn't stop freaking thinking about this. I'm like, dude, just let it go. And then now, like a couple days later, I really don't even think about it. You know, it's over with. But perfectionism, you know, I learned from like my dad. Like when we do concrete, you're finishing concrete, you could sit there forever trying to like take out all these little lines, and you really have to learn to just walk away. And that took me a long time to learn to walk away. You know, nothing's ever really going to be perfect, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is like trying to make it perfect. And my thing is more like, I've made over like 2,000 things. I'm probably coming near 3,000 like handmade items in 6 years or 7 years. So for me, it's about like, out of those 3,000 things, probably like 150 or 200 are fucking spectacular, and the rest are just learning pieces, you know. And it's about just output and yeah, not being too critical of your like what you're making, you know, which it can be hard, but yeah, it's just repetition again, you know. It's like at first I was very more critical, and now I still am, but it's just like I'm always faced with time. It's like you can spend I don't try not to spend too much time on things, because you gotta just move on.
Yeah, that's dope. Thanks for sharing. I think that's very valuable, not only for myself, but whomever's watching will find that very valuable as well. I get caught up too much on, for many years, perfectionism, and I think finally just this year I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna put stuff out, and then I'll learn as I go and apply that going forward.
Yeah.
But breaking my head over things, I'm never gonna get anything out as a creative.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what a lot of people struggle with.
Dope.
Oh yeah.
So something I wanted to ask is things you're actively doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen, do you go to like schools and stuff and like speak to kids, or like give us a little background on that and how you got involved in that?
That's something I've wanted to do for a while. Both my parents are in recovery for alcohol and drugs, and they give back to that community too. Like they help a lot of people with sobriety and stuff. So that is something I've wanted to do for a handful of years. I've been able to like see myself speaking at schools, and kind of because I resonate with the younger generation a lot, because I still express myself as someone who, yeah, however I want, and I think they look up to that. Someone who's a little older, who doesn't care to. You can still be yourself at whatever age you want. You know, like you don't have to conform and like take a job you don't want to take and stuff. So that's, my mom started working for Jeffco Public Schools this year, and that is something she wanted me to do, was speak at schools, and we finally made it happen, and hopefully we can do it again. She's struggling a little bit with the transition. She just started this job, so yeah, I really hope we can continue to do it and just shed some light to kids on addiction and how to express yourself, and you don't have to turn to like drugs and alcohol to cope with everything, because that's just like what society wants you to do, just like, you know, go drink or smoke or do drugs or have sex or whatever, to just like numb yourself and not deal with any of these things. And I like my dad, like I said, going back to the very beginning, like my dad wasn't around a lot, so my mom has always been in and out of my life, and I lacked a lot of emotional intelligence like growing up. So now, like, as I'm acquiring all this, I want to bridge this gap and try to help people who are coming out of high school, and because it is such a challenging time, and society like has all these set norms for people. Yeah, I'm just trying to give kids like a real life, something they can relate to, and, you know, and kind of hopefully take something out of. And yeah, mainly just like trying to let people know it's okay to ask for help, because we all struggle with that. You know, it's okay to ask for help with things and express yourself however you want, and don't really care about people's opinions, because like when people are talking negative about you, this is what I was telling the kids, it's they're going through something and they're channeling it out on you. So that took a long time for me to be able to handle that, dealing with criticism. Like on Instagram, people will say some like super negative things. So I just try and shed this information to the younger kids, because I lacked it and I want to be like a bigger brother to them in a sense.
That's still, I agree. I tell Armand that all the time. It took me a while to realize that a lot of times when people are giving me, whether it be feedback or comments or whatever, it's literally a reflection of whatever they're going through or their life experiences, and they're like projecting that on you.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of like not take it personal and just know that.
Yeah.
But I think it's dope. You sounds like it's important to you to give back, whether it be the fashion community, kids, and I love that the reason why I brought that up, I think kids are the next generation.
Yeah.
And a lot of the older generations, they think there's this way of life, go to school, go to college, get married, buy a house, or there's no like, hey, it's okay to struggle with this. Hey, it's okay to be honest about this. It's like they fed us this perfect life that's not reality for a lot of people. So I think it's important for us as we get older and like more self-aware, emotional intelligence and all these things, is to give it back to the kids and say, hey, it's gonna be all right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I touched on the market. Another one, I seen you do this recently, and I thought this was really dope that you're doing this clothing drive.
Yeah.
Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, so I was just asking for donations, because like a lot of the clothes they either donate to Goodwill, which the more I learn about Goodwill, they're just like a big scam. So instead of trying to go to the stores, I lacked time, and my dad brought up the idea. He's like, why don't you just see if people have anything they can donate? So I've had a couple people reach out, and I still have to just like go collect it whenever they have stuff gathered up. But yeah, I was just trying to eliminate waste. Really, I reuse everything I can, and sometimes I lack funds in a sense, so it's nice to just have, like, a lot of people have stuff to get rid of. So my mom will give me clothes all the time, and yeah, I'm just looking for clothes. So if you got clothes you want to give me, I'll come grab them. So
Yeah, I want people to see that, and I have to go through things. But when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I've been trying to give out clothes, but I just haven't had I have the time. I've been lazy to gather the items and then hit you up. But I do have items I want to give you, just
cool.
so you know.
I appreciate
and
it.
I agree with you. Like we could put these clothes in these bins or whatever, and we don't really know what they're doing. But if I have something I was so willingly to give away, and I know someone who wants clothing and it's going to help their craft and benefit them, why not give it to you and better you? Versus give it to a company who knows, it's like donating the dollar at CVS or Walgreens. I don't know what y'all doing with that.
Yeah, you're getting it right to me, and it helps in a lot of ways and shit. You could even see the piece you donated on my Instagram in a little while, or you never know where that could lead to. So it's pretty cool just to think of those outlets.
That's very fashion forward thinking and fashion forward, in my opinion. I've never really seen anyone be like, yo, you got some clothes to donate? And I see what you do. You like take a bunch of pieces, you might piece it together with something or whatever it might be. So that's dope.
Yeah, it could be anything, and I just never know what is going to come out of it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
For sure, man.
All right, so there's a segment I'm doing now. It is called the Chat GPT generated question.
All right.
I've been struggling with AI for many years, and not many years. It's only been around for like 2 years. Since its evolution, I've been struggling with it. But I figured I'm going to embrace it and work with it.
Okay.
So my Chat GPT generated question for you is: how do you translate personal challenges into artistic representations of empowerment and resilience in your designs?
All right. Say it one more time.
Yeah. How do you translate personal challenges into artistic representations pretty much in your designs?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my clothes are grungy and ripped up or beat up, and that's pretty much like how my life has been. Everybody has a hard life, and I express my challenges through my clothing. So it'll be grungy or patchwork and very ripped up or punk rock, and I'll even put sayings on there, face your fears or live life to the fullest. And I've had people tell, when you wear these clothes, you feel more alive. You feel like the energy I put into these things. So I was just trying to remember the question. So it's just basically you can see how it translates. It's very unique and self-expressive, and basically just patchwork and grunge, ripped up, because that's kind of how my life has been. So, but people can relate to that,
That's facts.
Yeah.
Dope. I'm glad we were able to get. Sometimes I don't know how that question's gonna go. It's made by a computer.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the spontaneity and I love it. So
Yeah. Then another question. Wait, I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Sure.
Well, we can switch to this. Now I know what I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
What is one of your achievements in your fashion and SLIV life that you were very excited about? It like meant the world to you, or you feel like I made it?
Shit, I still don't feel like I made it at all. So that goal is still coming, and goals are achievements are kind of like they come and go so fast. It's more about the journey up to achieving it is what I've learned. It's not really the achievements, because like the first fashion show I did, I put in so much work, and they last like 15 minutes and then it's done, and then it's like I was so disappointed. So I've really learned to just enjoy the process and the journey of any achievement, you know, like I'm just grateful to be alive every day. So every day is just like fucking dope. And so yeah, it just really comes down to, damn it, I keep forgetting the fucking question.
No, you're good. It was like one of your achievements you were most proud of.
Yeah, there have been some big ones though. Like the Juice World thing was huge, because I was only like 6 months in, but that was something I've been manifesting for probably a full year. And Denver Fashion Week has been huge. Throwing my own fashion shows have been big achievements that I'm really proud of. And yeah, just growing the brand and still just being around for 7 years is not so easy to do. So
the Juice World thing is I don't know what that is. The Juice World thing. Give us background on what happened.
So like I was working like a shitty it was a trash job, honestly, and I just did it because they had a sign-on bonus, and I was just like so angry, and I was still doing like cocaine, and I was very depressed, but I was listening to Juice WRLD, and I could like visualize him wearing my clothes like at Rolling Loud, and I was like, I didn't know how I was going to get him in these clothes, and I quit that job and went home and started making clothes, and I've never had a normal job since then. I was just like, I'm not being raised by an entrepreneur and like doing all these different jobs, but so I went home and just started making clothes, and I came out with my first screen printed shirt in a long time. Like I almost quit that year because I was like strung out on cocaine, and I was really struggling and trying to find my way, and it was probably like the winter time, you know, and I'd have to look back at like the messages and stuff, but I messaged him for like 6 months straight. Like, you know, I messaged his management. I was trying every outlet I could to get a hold of him, and then just kept working on the clothes. And like 6 months of making these SLIVLIFE jeans, I was posting on Denim Archives, which was blowing up at the same time. And his Juice WRLD's girlfriend saw him, Allie, and she messaged me, and she was like, I need to buy a couple pair for Juice WRLD, and I like fucking lost my mind. And I was anxious because she like didn't respond for a day, and I didn't want to keep messaging her, and I've had big transactions like not go through, so I was just trying not to get my hopes up, you know, like they could not arrive. Like I was so worried, and then she finally got them. I got her address, she paid for them, and I shipped them, and they arrived. I wrote them like a personal hand note that I wrote 2 copies, so I still have this note that I see like every day. And she said they got him, and he loved them, and then he performed in the one pair like the next week, that weekend. And yeah, man, it was just something so crazy to see my clothes make it, and to manifest a dream like that. I'm big on visualization and like writing your goals down, and that's something I've done since I was like 16. I read a book that taught me about that kind of stuff. So to achieve a goal like that's only 6 months into this clothing career, yeah, really just set me on fire. And then like I went crazy for like a couple years, just was so motivated. And then he passed away, and it was like, people were like, how do you feel that he passed away? And I'm like, well, I didn't know him personally, but it like sucks, you know. And I couldn't listen to his music for a while, honestly, because it was really sad, you know. And today I was just listening to him actually, because I do have those moments where you know, he is still one of my favorite artists, and I can really relate to like the stuff he put out. So
dope. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Juice WRLD meant a lot to me too. My nephews, they love Juice WRLD, and one nephew just recently was like sharing Juice WRLD freestyles with me. And one thing I always tell my nephews, the one thing I loved about Juice WRLD was his freestyle. Like I like freestyling, and I know when someone's rapping either a written, or if you're actually spitting off the top of your head. And his freestyle game, oh my god,
probably one of the best ever, for real.
I agree. Yeah, like just I love the way Juice WRLD freestyles. Like
yeah,
it's God bless him, He just has just a mean freeze. And you just could tell that he, like what you're saying in your, like, it just takes work. I could tell that kid for mad years was freestyling, like off the top of his head. That when I would see some of these videos of him freestyling and stuff, it's like,
so true.
Yeah, this is a kid who's been freestyling his whole life. This isn't written. No. I'm not reading this. I didn't memorize
He didn't even probably didn't even talk much. That's all he was doing. It's just like, I love seeing those behind the scenes. And then I heard a new freestyle this morning that I haven't heard before, and I was like, damn, he was one of the best for sure. And it sucks that, he did get his life. And now with all this fentanyl shit, man, I've known a lot of people to lose their lives with fentanyl at a young age, and people I grew up with. And that's one reason why I'm trying to reach the youth a little bit more, is because that shit's it blows my mind. And it's crazy that it's in everything, really, and like I said, I've lost a lot of friends and people to that stuff. So it's, rest in peace, all these people who are dealing with that kind of stuff, and lose their lives to it, man. It's tragic.
Word facts.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Of course, man.
So a question I have here, what is success to you? I know success is different for everyone.
Yeah, sure. Success is achieving something, you set out a goal or something you wanted to accomplish. That, to me, that is a success. Being successful for me as a human, as I've gotten older, is just more or less being healthy and finding happiness and peace and freedom. My time is my biggest success to me, is just freedom. Time is something you don't get back, and I just value time, I think, different than most people, just being a cancer survivor and a addict in recovery. And like I said, I'm just grateful every day, so I really don't waste a single minute. There are times where I do catch myself being lazy, but success is just living a fulfilled life, whether it be, whatever job you do, just do it to your best, and just people dwell on stuff a lot, and success can be broken down into very many things. It's very easy. It could be, you just wake up and do your job every day and you get your paycheck, and or you're really trying to accomplish something huge. So I think as long as you're not being a bad person and you're trying, then you're pretty damn successful,
Word. Yeah, you mentioned a couple things that resonate a lot with me. I'm waking up in the morning. That's something I always tell people. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm just grateful I woke up.
Yeah.
They're like, I guess. I'm like, well, I got, like you said, I've lost mad friends in my life through various different things and family. And it's life isn't always promised and guaranteed,
No.
If you have a rough day or whatever, there's tomorrow, and sometimes there isn't tomorrow. So I'm grateful I'm up today to get to try again,
Yeah.
And then another thing you mentioned was writing things down and manifesting things. That's something that's big to me too. It's been told to me for years. And my family, I grew up in a really Christian family, write these things down, pray over them or whatever.
Sure.
And it just took me to this year. I've always written things down, to-do lists. It makes me feel good to check things off or whatever.
For sure.
But this year I've been really journaling and writing things down, my goals or things I want, whether it be today, tomorrow, whatever it is, and I think that's dope. And I'm glad you share that, because whoever's listening, definitely, I think you should take that advice or take that little aspect from SLIV and try to incorporate that in your life if you really want to achieve things or grow or whatever. Write things down and meditate on them.
Yeah, document your life. Yeah, man. It's people just they take things for granted, and I see it. It's the majority of the population. It's just kind of taking things for granted, and they think they're coming back. I've heard that from somebody. They think they got another chance at this life, so they're they don't. It is what it is, and all you can do is just lead by example and just try and be the best person you can be. So
dope. You getting close to wrapping up. One question I have for you, since you're a Denver native, been out here your whole life.
Yep.
What's your favorite thing in Denver or to do in Denver?
The music scene is pretty remarkable in Denver. Every big artist pretty much comes through Denver at some point or another. Red Rocks Amphitheater is something that I've gone to probably 50 times in my life. So I'm big on concerts and live music, and I stepped away from all that stuff because I sobered up and got heavily involved in making clothes. But now the more I come back down in Denver and find out all the things that have changed and seeing it grow, it was super nice for me to step away from it and then come back, because now I feel Denver's just got this whole new energy that I'm super excited to be in and be a part of. And I plan to be back down in Denver later this year permanently, and hopefully grow the SLIV space, but that's just all in due time. And yeah, I just love Denver and the music scene and the weather is just, there's a lot of good stuff to do if you really like do your due diligence. There's like some really cool things you can find to do in Denver. So I think it's like it's a hidden gem in a lot of ways because you know, like you said, it's more of like people just think it's the mountain town and shit. So let's keep it that way, you know.
Right. I agree, because then it leaves a lot of room for opportunity for the others who are doing other things.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. If you want to come out here hiking, skiing, and all that, be my guest.
Yeah, of course.
So my last question, I'm probably gonna wrap this up with this. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I wrote them down. What was the one? Let me see if I can remember it. I'm always working on my.
Oh yeah. What brought you to Denver?
Yeah, what brought you to Denver? And then so we'll go with that one first.
All right.
What brought you here?
Love.
Okay.
This is a good question.
I feel you though.
I don't think I've gotten asked this before on here. Obviously, other people ask me that. I moved out here 2018 with a girl I was dating at the time.
Sure.
And we lasted as long as our lease.
Oh shit.
And then 2019, the year after, we broke up. And then right after that, COVID hit.
Okay.
And I just decided to stay out here. For some reason, I feel like grateful for that relationship. It brought me out here, but I felt like God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, brought us out here, both of us out here, because he had bigger plans for us. Yeah. And we were just the road or the tool at that time to help each other get out here. Because now, if I'm correct, someone just told me recently she's engaged, having a kid, she got a house, and like I'm super happy for her. It's like, yo, that's dope. You came out here, like you had goals, and like you're growing on them. And like I'm mad. If I hope she was to see this, I'm mad happy for her. Like that's genuinely, awesome. Yeah. There's no holding resentments and that kind of thing. But no, that's cool that you can have that perspective on it and see that that bigger picture of it. You know, because some people will dwell on that or hold resentments towards somebody and. Yeah, that's beautiful, actually. Man, if I would have never stayed out here, we would not be sitting here. It was secular, would have never had started. I feel like God had a bigger plan. I really admire people who move out of, I don't know if you're from New York. So I'm from New York, yeah. I admire people who move out of their home state and do that kind of thing. Because, like I said, I wanted to move to California at one point, but I'm grateful I didn't, you know, and now I'm starting to travel with ThriftCon. So everything does unfold the way it should. So, but no, I do admire people who step out and do that because that takes a lot of courage to rebuild in somewhere completely different. So, yeah, good on you. Dope. And then your second question is, how do I live life to the fullest? Yeah. Bro, I just wake up, to be honest with you, like kind of touching back on that. Me waking up and just being thankful for that and grateful for that, it gives me a whole different perspective on my day. Like I can't be, but there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, you know, and getting caught up on the bad days, it's not going to be the best. So right now, me living life to the fullest, I'm grinding. Yeah. I work 2 jobs, 65 hours a week. My days off are Sunday, but I'm doing this show for the better good of community. Sure. No, so that's me living life to the fullest. Just trying to meet new people, have conversations like this, and love on people, to be honest with you. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is just spread love, and you'll get it back tenfold, you know. And I'm glad we got to meet, and I'm glad you're in Denver. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to do this. I've always wanted to do something like this and share my story in this kind of format where I'm gonna, you know, share it and help you grow too, and it's all about the community. And I want more people to know about this, and hopefully we can let's get you booked up and get some more people coming in here and start growing this thing. So again, I'm super grateful for this opportunity. So thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah. You ever see Vlad TV? Yeah, I have. Yeah. Because everyone always asks me like, why don't you get it on the camera or whatever? And I'm like, you ever watch Vlad TV? I kind of like watching Vlad TV, where it's just like this like NBC, CNN interview style, and I'm here because I was saying, I want to make things less about me. It's more about other people. And I'm the same way. Yeah, it's good to focus on the other people. You know, like the streetwear market's not really about me. It's about all these other brands and stuff like that. So, no, I really like that aspect of it. And I do see you living life to the fullest for sure. You definitely are out there chasing your dreams and putting yourself out there and not afraid of little rejections and learning from stuff like that, which is huge. So keep doing it, man, and you will see it start to grow, and you'll see your success come. So dope. Thank you. I can definitely see it. You're taking it serious, and that people will start to see it for sure. Dope. Thank you. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, or however you identify, I don't want to leave y'all out either, because I got love for everyone. We got love for everyone here. That's a fact. Thank you for watching episode 5 of the Let's Meet show. Appreciate it, man. We had a great guest, Sliv. Hell yeah. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Come out to all these events in Denver. Let's go. Come meet me, get some merch, get some swag, have some fun, and just live your life to the fullest. Let's get it.